Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our podcast. Who are you straight away, yeah? Oh, my name's Ashraf, sorry. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to our podcast. My name's Ashraf. And who are you?
My name is Yusuf.
And
Jama'.
so, alhamdulillah, we decided to take a step forward, inshallah, and step into the scene of the media, inshallah. So we're going to start doing a podcast or podcasts on a usual basis. And inshallah, today is going to be about, identity and who we are. And, we can get to know each other and, discuss some issues that we face in our society or in the community as well. So, me being, I would say, who am I? I'm a 20-year-old from Morocco. I'm doing an apprenticeship. I'm Muslim. I try to practice my deen to the best of my ability, of course. What else about me? I don't think I'm that interesting, but yeah.
I think you're an interesting guy.
Thank you. What else? I mean, what do you think, Yusuf? What do you think you stand for?
Okay, so I don't know. How do I identify myself? I think that, identify myself based on like where I live. I live in London, so I'm a Londoner. But then also identify myself based on the kind of things that I like. I love cooking. That is something that I'm really passionate about. And so passionate that I used to work as a chef. And so that's something that I would identify about myself, that I like cooking, And so, that I identify with those kind of people who like cooking and who like food as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was interesting you talking about identifying yourself in terms of like your age, what you're doing at the moment. And so that's kind of stuff I identify myself with. What about you, Emma?
Oh, as previously said, my name is Jama'. I am a university student, much like this guy. I do MMA sometimes, not too good at it, but I try my best in it. And I started this podcast perhaps mainly to try and develop myself. We run brothers like this to, develop my deen and also researching topics for the podcast to develop my own knowledge as well.
Yeah.
So, alhamdulillah. I think that's me. I'm not too interested as well, I can't lie. But,
I think Yusuf's the most interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Just look at him like, listen to you.
I should start chef, do you know what I mean? Anyway.
Actually, I might change my definition of how I identify myself. I would say I'm actually on the vibe of I'm a Londoner.
Yeah.
I feel like we as Londoners can vibe together. Like we have the same motives, we like the same stuff. We're into football, the Premier League. And I think, most of my friends who I go out with, a lot of the time, we're going out for motives to play football and all these kind of things, which we all like. And, we're all part of the community.
Product of our environment.
Exactly. So, I don't know, but I think the question that arises is that, is that the right way of identifying yourself? What do you think?
You're saying that you identify yourself based on like being a Londoner, what it means to be a Londoner as well.
Yeah.
And something that I just thought of now when you said that is that actually sometimes we identify ourselves based on how different we are to others, or in terms of how other people are different to us. So I identify myself as a Londoner, as opposed to being a Northerner, or as opposed to being someone from Birmingham, or someone from Scotland, And so that's an interesting thing to look at, because actually, we identify based on feeling like we're better than someone else. Do you know what I'm saying? Or I'm this, I'm not that, and so therefore, this is like a better thing because I'm like this.
So how do you think that plays into our identity in general?
Yeah, I don't know. I think like
how we view ourselves.
I think you could look at it even from like
our differences with other people.
I think a good example would be, for example, even the youth today. Being part of these postcode wars. The only reason they feel they're better than someone else, or they need to retaliate when they get attacked, is because I'm from, for example, South London. I'm from N18. Yeah, so I'm N18. Like, who are you to step into my ground? This is my people, and we're different to you. And because we're different, that means we have to protect ourselves and maintain our bond. Keep everyone away from us, and we're different. We're better. So I think even like in terms of day in day out, we see it. As even us three being part of the youth. We know. I'm sure I know a lot of people, and you know a lot of people that hold their postcode dear to them. And it's not even postcode anymore. Now it's like this whole thing of being part of a trend. People say they hashtag a lot on Instagram like Gucci Gang. Like it was a song to start with. I'm guessing like
but it's become a culture.
Yeah, obviously the song is dead. But the vibe that comes with it is.
The message is yours.
Yeah, like you identify as a brand.
Mm.
Oh, now I'm dressed in Gucci. Now I'm Gucci Gang, and you do it like a G. I don't like do something like that. Like that.
I don't know.
But that's like
that's a C. You can put a little.
that's
G
okay. That's not too culture. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
and that's something that people see as a representation of themselves.
Yeah.
This is me. This represents me. I am a Gucci Gang partner or whatever.
You could also I guess it's always been a part of human nature. It's just human nature to the desire to belong for something or with something, and you could say perhaps if you relate it back to religion maybe the desire for the soul is it's always its natural call is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to belong. How do I say this? It's hard to articulate. To
Everyone wants to fit in. Everyone wants to be part of something. I think I don't know if that's what you're trying to say, but everyone wants to be. They want a gang. I guess like a gang is a good way of describing it because it's people who are kind of think in a similar way to you. It's people who are from a similar background to you. It could be you join a gang. Gangs doesn't have to be like gangs and street gangs, but it can be the gang. I don't know, when you're at school. And you see that, okay, there's the gang who like chess. That's a very nerdy example. But, for example, if you like chess, you would want to hang around with those people because they share the same interests as you. They share something. You can chat to them about something.
Definitely.
And I think it plays a big part, even when people grow up. People, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people, and we as humans and we as a society, we never grow out of that school mentality of us. And wanting to fit in or join this particular gang, we're always searching for something. How can we join something?
Yeah.
Who can we join? And so people yearn and search for that, and it becomes their whole meaning in life. And so they change their personality and the way they are and their belief, what they believe in and what they stand for, based on who might accept them. And so I think that's an interesting.
It is, but one thing you said, Gemma, like it caught my interest when you said that even religiously for of course we're Muslim, that people want that belonging and they want to feel that sense of attachment to you could say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or they feel spiritually attached, and of course that means that you are around brothers who are practicing. But don't we see, like, come on, let's be real, realistically, no one wants to be, or the majority at least we could say, are not willing to be part of that group that's religious. It's not a cool thing. Let's be honest. Is it, bro? I remember when I was in school. Wallahi, may Allah forgive me. When people used to talk to me and whatever, because I don't have any Muslims in my class, when they used to ask me, like, well, are you Muslim or whatever, I used to say no. Obviously, I was very, like, ignorant. I was 14, 13. I didn't know, but even now, from a young age, feeling like, religiously or Islamically, I don't want to be associated to Islamic group or Muslims in general, because it's not a cool thing. That's apparent in our society. That's apparent in our community.
Why do you think it wasn't cool? Where do you think that stemmed from?
I just think that the social, motives, if you want to say, or the lit stuff, it's not Islam. Like, the one who gets the girls and the one who gets, the peas, and the one who gets...
It's not the guy that's religious.
The one that's driving a sick car, bro. Bro, like, obviously some brothers are, mashallah, they make good money.
Inshallah,
But the guy that's getting girls, making money, going to a party, getting attention, he's not practicing. So generally when someone's looking up to who's getting attention, he's going to see him. Oh, but my imam don't get attention. Everyone just like, my mum, he ducks. Do you know what I'm saying? We have that wrong, like, as Muslims, I say, we have that wrong understanding of, fitting in. We want to fit in with anything that's trending, or anything that's big. And sadly, even today, I see my younger brother, like, he's trying to fit in into the crowd that's cool, and they get, money, and they get girls. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like, guide him or guide everyone else and us. But you see that it's apparent, man. People don't want to be part of Islam. It's not cool.
What struck me about that as well is that we see it happen as in children who are so young, that they want to not identify with Islam because they see that it's something that is not fitting in, it's not cool. And I think that's such an issue, because it means that a lot of people, especially when children, obviously they don't understand much anyway, but I feel like maybe as Muslims, we sometimes don't raise our children to have an appreciation for having an Islamic identity, how important Islamic identity is. And I think that Prophet ﷺ, he emphasised this point about having an Islamic identity a lot, because he talked about, I mean, in all the in so many hadith, when he talks about carrying yourself in a certain way, you know, walking in a certain way, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that this is the best way to walk. You know, walk with humility. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that's the best way to walk. Don't walk with arrogance in your step. You know, even to the way we wash ourselves, you know, we go to the toilet, we wash ourselves with water, alright, and we clean ourselves properly every time we go to the toilet, because it's something that is defines us, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, you know, our Prophet told us, and that actually defines our identity as well, because it's something that we hold ourselves to, you know. If we were going to be, we wanted to be part of the, I don't know, if we want to identify ourselves with, because we want to fit into the group of all the gangsters and the people who are making the money, you know, they're the ones who are going to have to walk with an arrogant step, who are going to have to walk with, you know, a little bit of a swagger and a little bit of a bop and whatever, because they need to show everyone else that they're still part of this group. They're not an outsider, you know. They're so fearful of being an outsider that, and we're so fearful of being outsiders as people.
Definitely,
we change these things in ourselves. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he emphasized these points, but even the fact of walking, it's in the Quran in Surah Luqman, when Luqman says to his son about have humility when you walk, you know, and in the way that you speak and everything. So these kind of things, these define how we behave on an everyday level, everyday basis, and how we interact with everyone around us. And it shows us, you know, about it just shows you that having an identity that has a better basis than just wanting to fit in is important in the deen as well, you know, that the deen does talk about having an identity. And it's not something that is just like left out. It's actually quite a big part of this deen.
I think it's interesting what you said about when you said walk with humility, and walk with like shyness, and walk with akhlaq, and that rings something in my head, like when you're doing that, who are you doing that for? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I think that the problem that we face even as youth is that, again, we're trying to impress people. We've made a big mistake in terms of who's meant to, you know, gain our, you know, pleasure, you know, and who meant to impress and look
who
good
to
for.
Respect as well.
Exactly, like,
like
people. But I used to see it. The only reason we bought, bro, let's be honest, the only reason we bought Nike and you know, Nike Air Maxes or whatever we used to wear, like trackers, is because people, you know, respected that. Oh, that's a nice make. But in school, if you used to wear, you used to get part of. You used to wear Lonsdale.
Oh, I didn't even touch that section. I'm not
that sounds like hoy. Let's go that way still. My dad used to say, "Come, let's go Sports Direct." Dad, I'm feeling not today. Like tomorrow, inshallah. But you see, like even us, bro. Like the only reason we wore that is because, you know, people rated that. People thought, Nike's a decent make.
That's the materialism in society, of course.
Exactly. Even on that point, that's true. Like people are trying to impress other people. But what are you doing? Like people go and come.
But I think on this point, I think it's important for people to realise that Islam. There's a hadith he told me many years ago, when he told me how Islam will always be an alien thing, something along those lines. Remember that?
I was talking to him about it on the train home the other day, and I said alien.
Oh.
And I was saying to him, that doesn't make sense to me. But hadith is about ghuraba, which is. I mean, that in English translation, basically like strangers or people who are outsiders. I think the Prophet ﷺ, I'm not sure the exact words, but I think he said that Islam came as something that is strange or is of the ghaib. Is that, no, not ghaib, sorry. I don't know what the word is. Don't worry about that.
I can't help you now. I don't know that deep.
Anyway, the Islam came as something that is strange, and it will always be strange. So blessed are the strangers.
Most of the prophets, most of the Anbiya throughout history have always. You know, we talk about society today and how, you know, we feel not necessarily oppressed, but maybe scared to practice our religion. Sometimes we were talking about the time when you were 13, 14. But that Anbiya, you know, we look at Lut alayhi salam, and you know, and how his own wife went against him. Ibrahim alayhi salam, how his people tried to throw him into the fire. Nuh alayhi salam, how many years alive for? 900 years. And he only had like, you know, there's different narrations, but it was essentially a very, very small amount of people, 1,900 years, that he managed to convert to revert to Islam. So I think maybe it's important to realise that, you know, Islam has always faced opposition, and it's just a part of, you know, the trials that we face, and it's important to realise that. And I think that's a key way to progress as a people, to just internalise the fact that, you know, okay, it's just a thing that you have to, people before also went through this. I just have this psychological battle I have to go through in order to progress in life. So yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, but on that hadith as well, I think that it's important to take from it that blessed are the strangers, what Prophet Muhammad said. And so that actually to be an outsider from all these other people, from these things that do not have a correct basis as their groups, yeah? So to be an outsider from the gangs, to be an outsider from the chess club, or to be an outsider from, I don't know, even like the people that you work with, yeah? You don't go partying with them, you don't go to their work dues, and you don't go to because you hold your Islam firmly, and you actually realise that, it's better for me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's better for me. He's the one who created me. So he knows what's good and bad for me. And if he told me that going to this work do and even drinking orange juice with these kuffar who are drinking, alcohol and whatever, that's bad for me, then you're actually in a higher position because your Prophet is blessing you. He's telling you that you are blessed because you are a stranger, because you are not part of these groups.
You're different.
You're different.
I think that's something people fear though, being different.
It's fair to be different.
Yeah.
You have to have strong, you have to have strong belief in. It comes back to you, man. You have to have strong belief in yourself and belief in Allah to know that you're right the way you're acting to go against the idols of society.
That reminds me of. Sorry, I want to cut you up, but that reminds me of something that Al-Khattab said. He said before Islam, we were people of shame, and Islam came and gave us honor. And if we ever seek honor from other than Islam, we will be shamed again. And wallahi, bro, that's if
I love that.
If people actually deep that, like, well, you could literally live your life being the most proud Muslim without having to go through many discussions of, oh, listen, you need to keep yourself calm, keep yourself together. You have sabr. Just that statement alone, look at the power of that. That well, anything other than Islam is bringing you shame. And whether you may think that chilling with next man are going to parties and talking to women or whatever, drinking, if you think that's that's cool and that's gonna get you attention, then wallahi, bro, you're doing something that's gonna bring you shame. And you might not see it in this world, and you might do. A lot of time we do. There are a lot of people that I know personally that do a lot of madness, but a lot of people end up disrespecting them and they think lowly of them. Just because someone doesn't tell you they think low of you. A lot of people who do this kind of stuff and go and go out with people that drink or whatever, or link girls or whatever, people think low of them, and it's so sad that you're actually getting shamed but you don't realize it. And that's what's scary, bro. That scares me. Like, imagine you start going down this road and you think you're getting attention. Everyone's looking at you, hey my guy, actually this, that, and everyone's giving you a lot of attention. Everyone's like, hey, well, come jump out there, and then deep down, people actually think this guy's disgusting.
So how do you find the strength to perhaps go against these ideals? What are the practical ways for you to take home?
Stop before you answer the question. 2 minutes until I stop. Yeah. So just.
Okay.
Can't be Karen.
2 minutes to try to summarize.
I think that I don't know what I'm saying. Google.
I think on the topic of understanding how to practically, hold on to your deen, it's a case of understanding what's going on first. Because if you don't know what's going on, you can't deal with it.
You have to recognize it, of course. So
you need to understand that social norms today, in the UK at least we can speak, we all experience it. We live our everyday life in London. They're not related to Islam. They're not related to Islam. So what you need to understand is that, look, these things that are going to be pushed in my throat, or people are doing, the majority of people are doing, they're not from Islam, and they're not from the Sunnah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not, he doesn't like them. So I need to make sure that I understand what's going on in terms of what I need to stay away from and hold on to the morals that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came down with. See, that seems very simple, but you need to recognition is always before action. You realize something is wrong, you take a step back, think, okay, this X, Y, Z is what I'm going to stay away from, and I'm going to hold on to this.
Of course.
And I think a lot of people miss out that they think that when they do that, they've took a step back, or the society doesn't, we don't match society anymore. But no. If you're holding on to the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the heavens and earth, then you're honoured. Again, like you said, there's nothing wrong with being different. And people hold on to this idea of, oh, being different is not cool, I have to fit in. No, who said that? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't fit in with the most of the...
I don't know. He was shunned by society.
Yeah, one thing perhaps to go back to maybe also as a source of strength to look at examples of people who went through these trials and how they overcome them in a more severe way. You can look at simple the seerah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the early days when he was in Mecca, and then how the Quraysh, how they mistreated them is probably a very soft word for what they done to the Muslims back then. So you could always look at the examples as a source of strength, and I'll give you an opportunity to speak. What else?
Inshallah, we'll carry on in episode 2.
Never mind.
Inshallah. Wait, why did you put your hand up? I had to look at you up.
There was only 1 minute left of this, so I was trying to give you time.
I'm still rolling, so if you want to say anything.
That's cool.
No.
No worries. Episode 2. I'll see you there.
But I think that for first time we're doing that.
Wait, this guy hasn't even been exit. Do it properly.
Oh,
Inshallah, we'll carry on this
You'll
conversation
come
next time, and we'll see you in episode 2.
inshallah.
See you there.
Well, you can keep that laughing part. It's fine. That makes it even normal.